Let's review our Sunday school lesson together on today. We are in our fall quarter Sunday school lessons for September, October, and November, entitled God's Exceptional Choice. In this quarter, we're tracing the Ark of Salvation's history from Abraham to Jesus to the early church. And now we begin a new unit for the month of October, unit number 2, entitled Out of Slavery to Nationhood. And we're going to look at the children of Israel, or Jacob's children, 12 sons and their families whom God has chosen. And we're going to look at their journey to Egypt and the story of Moses, to the Exodus journey, to the promised land of Canaan. And also going to take some time and look at the story of the judges and Gideon, Saul, and David. So we're going to cover a lot of ground in this new unit of unit number 2, Out of Slavery to Nationhood. And today our lesson for lesson number 5 for October the 2nd, 2022. The first lesson of this new unit is entitled A Protective Family. Our printed passage is Exodus chapter 2, verse 1 through 10. Now, as we open up this quarter, again, we are tracing the arc of history, and we're looking at the family that God chose, which was Abraham's family. And we have traced it to his son Isaac, and then to his son Jacob, who had 12 sons. And so from his children to his grandchildren now, God has kept his promise to Abraham that he would make him blessed, that through him all nations of the earth will be blessed, and that his descendants will be like the sand on the seashore, as well as the stars in the sky. So God has kept his promise. And now Jacob has 12 sons, and these sons populate God's people. As you know, Jacob's name was changed to Israel, so that's why we say the children of Jacob, or the children of Israel, because these was his 12 sons and their families that made up the 12 tribes, or the 12 families of God's people. And so Jacob has a son by the name of Joseph, who is used by God to save his family and the world at that time during a famine by elevating him to second in command in Egypt. And God's people saw grace there during the time of Joseph. But that grace runs out, and there arises a new Pharaoh that knew not Joseph, and began to persecute and treat the people of God harshly in Egypt. And now they need a deliverance. They need a saving from their Egyptian enemy and the mistreatment that they have going on. So God chooses a man by the name of Moses. And we see Moses' early story here, that Moses is chosen by God to be an agent of deliverance. And even Moses himself is saved in a time of a genocide, so that he might be able to lead his people to salvation from their bondage. Isn't that amazing? God delivers Moses so that Moses can be an agent of deliverance of God's people. Now, think about this. In this arc of history, Joseph, who went to Egypt, faced a famine. Moses, when he was born, faced a genocide. And Israel, when they were going through, were facing oppression and enslavement. And in each situation, God uses a person for salvation. Joseph found himself as the one given the vision by God to store up for the years of increase. And then during the years of lack, they had what they needed. God uses Moses to go down to Pharaoh and say, "Let my people go," and to deliver Israel out of the hands of their enemy. God uses a person for salvation. And God, even in our lives, used Jesus for our salvation. Amen. This is the ark of salvation that God has always saved his people. And even when it comes to us, in our sin, God saved us, sent his son Jesus to cure us from the curse and to free us from the bondage of sin and to defeat our enemy. Saved us from death, saved us from the curse, freed us from our sin, delivered us from our enemy. He saves us. And because he saved us, we can see that God's salvation and his saving of us is of most priority in our lives. Thank God that when we're part of his family, that he will always save us.